Jason Matthews of BleacherReport.com. We're standing here with Raw superstar Bronson Reed ahead of Elimination Chamber coming up this weekend in Montreal. Bronson, what's going on, man?
Just chilling. I got in yesterday. I had some poutine.
Nice.
Got my belly full, and now I'm getting ready for tomorrow night for the chamber.
How is poutine?
Great. Yeah, I love it. I love poutine. I've been told to have a smoked meat sandwich. I haven't had that yet. I think it's similar to a sandwich that you get at like Katz's Deli.
Yeah.
So I'll probably hunt one of them down today.
All right.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like I haven't been to Canada at all. I went to Toronto once like 15 years ago. I haven't tried poutine, so I'll have to try it.
You have to try it. It's delicious.
Is it like the same with Vegemite? As far I've tried Vegemite too. People always have like this distinction, like, oh, don't try it, it's not good. So like, what's your thoughts on that?
I love Vegemite.
Obviously, you're biased.
Obviously, I grew up in Australia. I used to have that for breakfast all the time.
Yeah.
But I think there's a certain way to have it. I think this is where people go wrong, so I'll let everyone know. I think everyone that tries Vegemite outside of Australia, they'll try it with like a spoon, or they'll get a big scoop of it and put it on bread.
Yeah.
And all you need is a little bit. So you need to make some toast, a lot of butter, then a little bit of Vegemite. And that's how you're supposed to have it. Yeah.
All right.
I think the problem is people just like to eat it, and of course, like
it's like
it's
that's
too
not
much.
how it works.
It's too salty.
Yeah, no, exactly. You got to like try it with the right thing, right?
Yeah.
With the right combination.
Whereas poutine isn't like a singular thing. It's the fries, the gravy, the cheese. Mine had little sausages in it.
Okay.
Delicious.
All right.
Yeah, delicious.
I'll have to check it out this weekend.
I'm putting it over big time.
I know you're putting it over big time, even more than the pay-per-view tomorrow, which you're going to be a part of for the United States Championship. A lot of familiar faces in there that you're familiar with: Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Austin Theory, all NXT, familiar faces. Just talk about that and just being a part of this match and how it differs from 2 years ago from where you were in NXT. Just take me through it.
Yeah, I feel like these sort of matches are pretty much exclusive to WWE.
Yes.
Elimination Chamber you can only do it here, so it's a bucket list sort of match that I've always wanted to do. I think it's going to be even more exciting that there are those guys like Gargano, Priest, Montez. Like it's pretty much the black and gold NXT
it really is.
At Chamber. Even Seth obviously was
first ever NXT champion.
Exactly. So I think all of us in that chamber are guys that want to put on a great show. So I think it's going to be very exciting, and my style of wrestling fits perfectly. I think.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a brutal guy, so that's what I want to present tomorrow night.
And you've only been back on the main roster for 2 months, man.
Yeah.
And
Very short time.
Very short time. And your first pay-per-view back, because obviously you weren't in the Rumble, but we're going to see you in the Elimination Chamber for the United States Championship, which is a pretty big spot to be in with this show coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
Just talk about your evolution, because you're looking like a star, like I said a moment ago before we hit record. Is this like the Bronson Reed that you've always been, a new side of Bronson Reed, or kind of the Jonah that you rediscovered yourself as before you came back?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a little bit of a rediscovery.
Okay.
I was very confident when I was in NXT. Obviously, I became North American champion. I was confident in my abilities. But I think there was something a little lacking. And being able to go back to Jonah, I sort of got that chip on my shoulder again. And now that I'm back, I want to make sure that Bronson is something that is must-watch TV. And if you're watching every week on Raw, you'll see there's always something that I get people with that is a viral moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's sort of what I want to do. And present myself as the superstar that I think I am.
Yeah. I mean, you're a fan at the end of the day, so you kind of know what fans want, how fans react. I feel like that works to your advantage. Talk about that the last couple of weeks, because you haven't had many matches since you've been back on Raw, but of the matches that you have had, you've been impressive. People will come out, or you'll come out, people may not know who you are, but they'll know who you are after the match is over, especially after that diving splash.
Yeah, that's the thing, I surprisingly am almost an underdog a lot of the times going into matches, even though I'm a big guy, I'm over 300 pounds, and I want to make sure that people always know who I am, and I am one of those guys now coming back. There are people that are unfamiliar with me, whether they're watching on TV or they're there in person, but by the end of the match, I always have them on their feet. So I'm a huge wrestling fan. I've been watching wrestling my whole life, and I want to be able to bring these different styles of wrestling into WWE. Most recently I've been back in Japan, which reignited my love for Japanese wrestling. I want to bring some of those moments with me as well.
Was it a close call? Because I know you've talked before and after the bell and places like that. And the career that you had in Japan, obviously before going to WWE in the first place, but even just being there for the year and a half that you were gone from the company, you made a big name for yourself, pinning Okada of all people, and you come back to WWE, people are like, oh, why would you start back from the bottom? But I think there's a lot more that goes into it than just that.
There is.
You know, and just talking about not getting to the main roster the first time, not proving yourself again, but just that whole sort of process. And just, was it a close call, like, I don't know which one to do, or was it an easy call the entire time, like, I have to go back to WWE? Unfinished business.
It was very much that, you know. It was a close call, you know. I love Japan and I love the culture there. I love the style of wrestling. I fit in perfectly. I was going to be a main event guy. I was that with Okada. But there was always that thing in the back of the mind of what if. And given the opportunity to come back here, I never got to be on a Raw or a SmackDown. I never got to do these pay-per-view matches, Chambers, WrestleManias, those sort of things. So that was always in the back of my head the whole time I've been away from WWE. So as soon as I was given the chance to come back, I was like, that's what I have to do. If not, it'd be something that I'd be questioning myself about all the time. Even if I had a great career in Japan, like, you'd still always be questioning what could have happened.
Yeah, and the door could be open in 5 years, but it may not be. You don't know.
Exactly.
You know?
And I feel like I want to do as much as I can with WWE. There's always, Japan's not going anywhere as well, so there's always futures for that as well. And I'm hoping at some point we can sort of cross paths and maybe have some of the Japanese superstars on the WWE show. I don't know.
You're knocking on that door.
Yeah, that's what I want, you know. I said when, obviously Triple H was the one that brought Jushin Liger over for a takeover. I'm like, if there's doors that can be opened, I'd be happy to try and negotiate stuff.
I know you were trying to knock down that door when you first left WWE. Like, listen, Ring of Honor, pick me up, Impact, pick me up. Everyone, like, you wanted to be everywhere at that point.
I did, yeah.
And you were. You showed up everywhere and you made a name for yourself. You did exactly what you said you were going to do. That's what you're going to do this weekend as the United States champion. Hopefully winning, going on to WrestleMania. If you do, you're going to be part of WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. And we're seeing all these movie parodies. We've seen them in years past. If you get the chance to do one and you had the choice, what would you do?
So I'm a huge movie fan, and obviously sort of like some eclectic movies. You know, I watch a lot of...
I think you're a big horror fan, too.
Big horror fan, but I'd do something more mainstream for the people, and I'd like to do Nutty Professor the Clumps. Sit around at the table, but it's all different versions of Bronson, you know. You have the dad Bronson, you have the grandma Bronson. That's what I'd like to do.
That's such a random choice, but I love it.
I think it'd be entertaining. It'd be funny, yeah. It is a random choice. I don't know if the other superstars have thought of these things.
No, definitely not. I have not gotten an answer yet. Yeah, so talking about that, just being a big movie fan, what have you watched lately? Like, what are you into right now?
Well, the latest thing I watched was actually Batista's new movie.
Knock on the Cabin, you said the same thing.
But I'm a guy that's always looking for new movies to watch. I'm always watching movies, so I have this thing called Letterboxd.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, which is an app where you can log your movies and search things, and I have a huge watch list. So I don't know. When I get the time,
I was gonna say,
that's what I do. Yeah.
Does it help like when you're traveling? I mean, you can't really. I guess if you're driving, you can't watch it. But like when you're flying, maybe or no?
Yeah, I try. Like I have the apps on my phone, so I try to watch what I can when I'm on a plane or when I get to a hotel. I carry a Fire Stick with me, so I always try to like watch what I can.
The Fire Stick's like godsend.
Yeah, I love it.
It's amazing.
Because a lot of the hotels I stay at will have like decent TV capability and stuff, maybe Netflix on there, but it doesn't have everything that I'd like to watch. So I travel with those things to make sure that I'm entertained.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's such a smart idea to have all these streaming services hooked up, so when you're not spending your time as United States champion, you can enjoy your off time doing that sort of stuff too.
And hey, everything is wrestling, so like
it really is, dude.
Yeah, the way I figure it, like I watch a movie and I see a cool line from a movie, I write it down, and then like hopefully I can workshop that into a future promo. Like,
do you have an example of that you haven't done already, that you've already done, so you don't give anything away?
That I've already done. I mean, I'm not sure, not for anything recent that I've done. So, but I know in New Japan there were certain quotes from old movies. Like people are taking things from like the 60s and 70s.
You are.
So
Anything in particular?
No, I can't think of anything in particular. I have to go through my phone and look at like
look at my notes. Awesome. Well, we look forward to more of those lines in upcoming movies and upcoming promos. I'll have to keep an eye out for that in the future. But Bronson, it was great talking to you. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Awesome.